So the group that I decided to do my interviews on were students who had gone to a 4-year institution and then transferred to a 2-year institution for whatever reasons, and then transferred back to a 4-year institution. That was initially what I wanted to interview people on, but I could only find one student who kind of fit that description. So instead I changed my interview group to people who had just went to a 2-year college at any point in their academic career. So a lot of the people I interviewed, I ended up interviewing 4 people, and a lot of those students actually went to the 2-year college first and then transitioned to a 4-year institution. The thing that I found most surprising about my interviews is that no one mentioned the role that admissions played in their transition from a 2-year college to a 4-year institution. I currently work in admissions at the University of Houston, and I see all of the things we do to facilitate the transition between community colleges and our university. We provide transfer advising, face-to-face counseling, and we answer questions about applications and class selections. We provide orientation. I just feel like we do a lot to kind of facilitate this transition from the 2-year university to the 4-year institution, and I thought that that would be something that the students brought up when I asked them about the pros of transitioning, or maybe the good points that happen when transitioning from a 2-year institution to a 4-year institution, but no one at all brought up the role that admissions plays. One of the things that was brought up in my interviews that I feel like relates to this class is the student affairs part. When I asked the students about their transition from the 2-year institution to the 4-year institution and how it could have been made easier, a lot of students said they would have liked more support from academic advisors or financial aid, or more information about services that the school offered and things like that, which essentially what I gathered from it is more involvement in student affairs, or student affairs being more involved in their transition from the 2-year university to the 4-year institution. If student affairs would offer more services geared towards them, maybe they would be more happy, or they would have a smoother transition. And that reminded me of our class, because we talk a lot about student affairs and the role that they play in creating, this whole student. Another thing that I found interesting that I wanted to just point out was that each of the students that I interviewed, they said they wanted to, either raise their GPA, or they wanted to establish a good GPA before transitioning. But nobody really brought up the benefits of a 2-year institution financially. I feel like the 2-year institution there's kind of like a stigma attached to it. It doesn't create quality students or whatever. But I really feel like sometimes when people go to the 2-year institution, it's not just for the GPA standpoint. It has a lot to do with the money and the fact that they can't afford to spend 4 years at a 4-year institution or longer, because it's just not economically feasible for them. So I don't know, I just really feel like the stigma that's associated with going to a 2-year institution when it comes to easier classes or the course rigor or anything like that, I think that's a stigma that should be broken, because a lot of 2-year institutions offer a time for people to go to school and it be affordable, but also they kind of help develop a student who will eventually be ready for a 4-year institution. So that was interesting to me, that the students didn't bring up the financial value behind it. That's pretty much it.